understand why they want to go there, who their competition is. Igor is going to give you an overview of how to conduct that research, how to make sure you maximize the amount of information you get, and then obviously we're going to put all that into an export plan that you'll be developing in a week's time. Okay? So I'll pass it over to Igor.
All right. Hello. Can I hear me well?
All right?
Hello. All right, good. Well, thanks, Core, for introduction. My name is Igor Chigrin. I'm an exporting consultant with Global Partners, a company dedicated to helping local businesses become global. And I'm going to cover today the introduction to international market research. So those basic tools, they're not all tools, but very basic tools that you will use in your export market research, meaning getting more information about your target export markets, finding your target export markets, getting more information about your potential clients, suppliers, or competitors. So fortunately, in this day and age, you don't have to go to the library and lock yourself in the library for a few days, but it's still a good idea to allocate a good amount of time and go through those resources in order to complete your export market research. I mean, literally, I suggest you allocate time and lock yourself in a room, turn off your cell phone and go through those resources because it's very important to do the research before you start the activities in your target export market. And can you tell me why we need the research? Why do you think we need the research? Why can't we just buy the ticket and go to Japan and everybody will start buying our product? Why do we need the research? Yeah.
Because we need the insights about the market.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah. Any other points?
Reduce risk.
Exactly. Yeah. Avoid costly mistakes. So just like you cannot build a house without the blueprint, you cannot really succeed in international markets without the proper foundation, the proper research. Okay. So let's jump right into this. You got to start with the Trade Commissioner Service website. It has a good number of market reports. They are grouped by the industry sector and by geographic market. So I'm pretty sure you can find your industry there. If not, and if specifically you are in agriculture, food and beverage sector, then you should go to Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. It has a similar set of reports focused on agri, food and beverage sector. So that's your number one choice if you're in that sector. In those sectors. Going forward, the Trade Data Online is a good resource for two reasons. Number one reason is that this resource will help you to identify and find your product HS code. And anyone who's familiar with the HS code, please raise your hand. Okay, just a bit. So I should explain what the HS code is. So HS code is the international system of the classification of the tangible goods, classification codification. It works like that for each and every tangible product, there are categories and subcategories, and each of those subcategories assign a unique two-digit number. So this way you can classify and codify any tangible product for international trade transaction. So you use this HS code primarily to determine the duty rate. It's used by border authorities, by customs authorities, by customs brokers. That's the primary one. But another good reason I use HS code is because you can get the trade flow statistics by using this HS code. And going back to Trade Data Online, first of all, this resource will help you to find the HS code for your product, and then use it in order to find which are the top export markets for the Canadian products that you export or you intend to export. Yes?
Is there an HS code for software or just?
Unfortunately, no. It's only for physical tangible goods. Okay. So there you go. What it really shows you is the list of your top export markets. So if you are unsure which export markets you should target, then we suggest to go to Trade Data Online and look up the top export markets for your product code. This will give you a good idea which markets demand your product. Okay? Apparently more exciting session than ours.
Very loud.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well,
Enthusiasm.
yeah. Unfortunately, market research is not as excited, but you know, it's it's exciting, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. Yeah. Okay. Now, if your target market is the European Union, then Eurostat is a good resource for you. Eurostat collects statistical data from all European markets, member states of European Union, and it has all the stats from general population statistics all the way to business, manufacturing, farming, trade flow data. So once again, if you target European markets, please have a look. There are many good reports. Now, if you target market outside North America and outside Europe, then the United Nations also has a set of statistical databases. They collect data from the United Nations members, which is pretty much all the countries around the world. Their databases are not as broad as the European ones. There are just a few of them, but they're very deep and very comprehensive and cover all over the world. Yes?
Are they all free?
Yes. Oh yeah, by the way, that's a good question. All of the resources that we're talking about are free. And they don't even require registration. Okay. Now, another step of your market research is looking up your potential competitors, potential customers, and suppliers. A couple of ideas where you can get them. You can get them through the either chambers of commerce or boards of trade, like this one, Toronto Board of Trade, or through the trade directories. ThomasNet is an example of a trade directory very focused on engineering, manufacturing. I'm pretty sure if you're business here in North America, you know that directory, and maybe you're the members of the directory. But there are similar directories all over the place. If you can't find good contacts through ThomasNet or through other directories, then you should find the local chamber of commerce, either in the particular town that you're looking for. And the World Chambers website allows you to find the chambers of commerce or boards of trade by geographic region and by industry as well. Okay. So this way you find the contact information of your potential buyers, suppliers, or customers. Okay, and you look them up. You do the competition research, you do the supplier investigation, and you essentially get in touch with those companies. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Now let's talk about the regulations. So there is a golden rule that if your product can cause potential danger to the consumer's life or health, then it's subject to the regulations. So which means that, well, pretty much all electronic goods are subject to regulations. All the goods that have mechanical components are subject to regulations. Most of the agri products, food products not to that degree, because the food is considered to be processed raw agri commodities, so it's not as dangerous, supposedly, as the raw commodities. So in order to find whether or not your product is subject to those regulations, you should go to canadabusiness.ca website that has the export regulations page, and that page contains all categories of the products that are subject to the regulations. Okay? Then what happens is that as you drill down to those categories, this website sends you to other government websites, like Global Affairs Canada, that you see on the screen, that provide you more detailed information on the compliance and what kind of paperwork you need to do in order to either export or import the product. Okay. Anyone is in this regulated category? You know? Anyone faced any compliance or regulatory issues in the past? All right, hopefully you won't, but the good idea is to proactively check canadabusiness.ca website and export regulations to see if your category is subject to the regulations. Now, if your target export market is the United States, their Border Protection Services issued a very comprehensive document, which is called the Guide to the Importers to the United States. It's over, I think, 200 pages long, but it's a very good resource of the information on what kind of paperwork and compliance you should have in order to import your product to the United States. So it is designed for the foreign export, sorry, for the importers to the United States. And again, US is your target market, and you should check it out. Going back to the market information, another good resource is US Department of Commerce. Has country commercial guides for every country except the United States, obviously. Very good information, usually very up to date, including all the recent political/economic issues are there. So don't hesitate to use American resources. You're not limited to Canadian resources only. The US resources are also free of charge on your registration, so why not take advantage of them? Okay. There's another one that's not here, but in fact, the Central Intelligence Agency has yet another market information resource. So you go to CIA website and you can find the country guides there. Even more up to date than this one. Now, if there are any standards that your product is subject to, you can sign up for Standards Canada alert system, and every time the appropriate standard changes, you will get the email alert, so that you can proactively take action and adapt your product to match the requirements of the changed standard. By the way, I've heard there's somebody in the software business, right? You had a question, I guess. Yeah. OECD has the resource. It's called Service Trade Restrictiveness Index. What it really is a comprehensive table of all the non-tariff barriers and restrictions that your service is subject to. However, it's limited to OECD countries, but I think that's your number one priority anyways. So you probably want to deliver your service or software to more of a developed markets. Going forward to your marketing plans, one tip that may be helpful for you is you should need to know that both federal government and the provincial governments, they frequently have the pavilions in the large trade shows around the world, which means that you can get your space for your booth desk at the large trade show very cost effectively. The government basically gives you 50% discount on the regular price, and both federal and provincial governments, they organize this Canadian or Ontario pavilions at the large trade shows all over the place. If you're in industries like agri-food, aerospace, automotive, mining, oil and gas, IT, information technologies, biosciences, healthcare, and so on and so forth. So those are so-called priority industries for the government. And it's a priority for the government to ensure that Canadian businesses can afford exhibiting at the large trade shows. So the example you see on the screen is the schedule of large food shows where Canada has its pavilion. And once again, pretty sure that Ontario has its own pavilion at this show. So you can speak to both federal and provincial folks. And again, it's not just agriculture, mining, aerospace, and so forth. Now, another resource for you is the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. If you are concerned about IP protection, and I think you should be concerned about that, check out their guides for exporters, how to protect your intellectual property outside Canada. And last but not least, but a very good resource from the Ontario government called the Guide to Online Export Resources. Has way more links and resources than this short presentation. Also, everything free. All the links that you'll find there are free of charge, and you can find the information there. Just from my own experience doing the research, if you have a family member who is a student of any Canadian college or university, then through that person you can access the university libraries. And the university libraries have usually have those reports that normally cost like $2,000 to $3,000 to $5,000. They have them free of charge. So at least if you're allowed to go to the university library with your family member or friend, it would be a good exercise for you, because through that library you can access something that normally costs a lot of money. Okay? And if you're stuck, have any additional questions about doing the market research and doing the market entry planning, you have a handout with a detailed description of each and every of the sources. And in the end of that handout, there's a list of, I believe, like 6 or 8 names of different international market resource specialists that you can ask for assistance, and we'll have to help. One of us will have to help you out. I'm one of that list, but I believe there are like 6 or 8 of them. And I think we have time for questions, Mark. Do we?
Yes,
do
we
we
do
have
have time, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions, guys, on?
Yes.
So this Wing Global.
Wing Global is the expert in the consulting firm focused on helping local businesses become global. Basically, we provide tools and information, training and coaching primarily for either the new entrants to export-import or established companies that wanted to uncover new export markets. And market research is one of the services. But this is an information session, something feature.
So how many people learned something there? How many people are really happy with how they're scoping their market, or they do all these websites to go to and all these places to go to? I mean, I know when I first, started scoping, having spent 5 years in Australia helping companies come in, it's a zoo out there, as you know, trying to find the information, trying to find out what are the certifications, what are the regulations. It's an absolute act. So having done that before, I think it's a really valuable resource to have a chat, or even just to take down some of the information. We'll send out the presentations. Start doing the scoping on your own for the export exercise, but also, feel free to reach out to any of us in the room to help you directly that way.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks, everyone.